Okay, we're going to take a look at Puss Gets the Boot by Bill Hanna and Joe Barbera. First, you can see how long the hold is there on Tom, and there's another hold. There's another hold, and then he just disappears. You need a little time for the scene to register. So here's a little scene in regular speed, and he just makes a turn, and it always makes me laugh that he couldn't fit in that hole anyway, but of course it's not a hole. And notice how he's running, leaning backwards. Now, that's not the way you run. You run leaning forward, but it's a cartoon exaggeration. And it only doesn't have to be real. It only has to be believable. So I love this momentum. Check out this. He just keeps going, and then he's got to get some traction. So the first few steps, he doesn't actually make contact with the ground. And it's very effective. And here it happens again, and you get the double benefit of it. It shows you the intensity of how hard it is to get into that hole, and also you get a little bit longer to look at it. If he actually made contact with the ground, he would be moving so fast you wouldn't really see the action very clearly. So, and of course, there's a little bit of repeat in there. Some nice arcs. Right, let's look at the scene. This is a simple scene. And so here it is in about 1/10 the speed. And you can see an arc on the cat's paw as he swings down and then up and flick the water on. You can use a repeat. You just do the same action. You can just use the same drawings over again if it works in the scene. And here comes Tom in there, and then he'll hold. Notice how he's just holding there while he's sort of waking up. And you can notice that there's drag on the ears. When he moves his head to the left, the ears angle to the right. And then little sparks come out of his head. That's a little throwback to old cartoons. It's not done so much now. You like to get the acting done with the body language and the face, and not little lines. It's pretty popular in Japanese anime. So another hold. Tom and Jerry cartoons, very full animation, but they make extremely good use of the holds. And full in that the whole body moves. In limited animation, you'll have like a body standing still and only the head moving, or maybe even only the mouth moving. And of course, there Tom is completely still, except for you can see his eye. We'll see this one in slow motion. And that never fails to get a laugh. All right, so here's a big squash. I mean, his whole face fills up the frame. And then pull up, and you can see that now Tom is on a held cell. And Jerry is bouncing around. And then you get a little movement in the eyes on Tom. And that main reason I'm showing you this is it's such a memorable gag. I guess it's pretty unexpected. You really don't expect this tiny little mouse to do something as bold as just poke him in the eye. And then the other reason is because it's so exaggerated. And I want you to pay close attention to the size of Jerry's hand. First, he's going to, there's a reaction, and it's always good to get the thinking character. He thinks, he reacts, he notices the eye. He says, oh my God, there's a giant cat there. He thinks, and there's a little bit of thought about, okay, what am I going to do now? So you always should be thinking about, you as an animator should be thinking about what is your character thinking, because that lets the audience in on the action. They become a participant. They can empathize with your character. And it's just good storytelling. It's much better storytelling. Here he is thinking, okay, maybe he has an idea what he's going to do, and now this is your classic anticipation. He's going back. He's moving the arm back to go forward, and it just gets really big just for a few frames. And boy, does it go into the eye. I think it's the other thing that's funny is just how far they push it. Frank Tashlin would do that too. Now, the only reason I'm showing this part of the clip, this with Tom reacting, is that you get a nice motion across the cut. So, all right, here it is again. And see, there's the cut. It's called cutting on action in editor parlance. So here we are back at normal speed. Little chase. And one thing that's nice about these old cartoons from the 40s, you can see they ran in perspective. If this was the Flintstones, they would just be running parallel, and you'd see the same background. So it's nice that they put the extra energy into that. And he slinks off. There's a lot of personality in there. I'm just going to study this one little bit of the broom coming down. As you can see, there's a little bit of the slink, and here's the arc on the broom, and you can see that there's only two more frames of that action, and then the bristles spread out, and they very quickly come back. So you don't get a sense that the broom is misshapen. You just get a sense of the impact. There's a little bit of a scramble, similar to what Jerry was doing, trying to get into the mouse hole. It's always nice to have some animated debris. See those little pieces. And this is nice clean, but a fairly complicated shot followed by a nice, clean, simple shot of Jerry. And here it is in slow motion. He's pretty still except for his blinks. And you know what we've got is like a nice, clear, what's known as a clear silhouette action. That if the figure were blacked in, you could still tell what was going on. And it's really all you can see is his head, but you still get a pretty nice, clear, visible idea of the action. The action's very clear, clearly staged. The expressions are exaggerated, which also helps to emphasize what the action is. So here's a little example of what I'm talking about with the silhouette. There's if you silhouette it, and you could sort of tell he's got his hands clasped. He's congratulating himself. Things are going well for him. And there it is back at normal speed. And he's almost, I'd say he's overacting there, but plays well. The Mammy character was often repainted and the voice redubbed so as not to be a racial stereotype. But here we have the original cartoon. So let's look at that. He makes contact with this table, and you can see right there the wood actually bends. Again, like the broom, it's okay to just show impact very briefly, as long as it comes back to shape. You don't get the sense of that it's a flexible item. There's a lot of things you can get away with. And then there, look at Tom's reaction. His body, his whole body, especially his head stretched out. And this actually, I had a student do some animation of a pot falling and never quite got it right. And you can see the big thing is he never quite got it in perspective. And I think it really helps. And look at the arms. The arms stretch out, and then his body compresses. So he stretches out to catch it and then compresses because of the momentum of his body catching up. Now back to normal speed. And now Jerry is scooting down. I like the way he comes down. They give him a little back and forth motion to show the ridges on the candle holder. And so Jerry has a very extreme reaction. Look at how his head stretches out and his feet stick out, and then he kind of loses his balance. And then this part's probably the best part. The freeze. Tom actually goes past the point. It's called overshoot. But then you can see he just freezes there,
in a really unnatural pose, not what is normally a held pose. And that's what the gag comes from. And you have to give credit to Walt Disney. He did the same gag about 5 years earlier in the band concert when Mickey Mouse was conducting the orchestra, and just stopped for a big pause in the music, and everybody's hanging in midair. So thanks for watching. See you later.